What job you got? So sit between the American flag and the state flag, and that'll be your spot. I gotta do I got music playing. Let's hear.
Good morning, Charles.
Hi, Cliff. Jose's in studio.
Okay.
How are you today?
Good. I can barely hear you.
Well, he's across the room, so it is what it is. Cliff. It's snowy, it's zoomy, but hey, we gotta make what we got. So Dennis is coming next week.
Obviously. We'll never tell you what Francisco. I drive him out every day.
For Francisco.
Oh, yeah.
Eileen's here too, wow. Free name. Okay, Cliff, you're good to go? Put your mic on. And you're on.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Dawn Patrol. I'm Cliff Krieger, your host. My co-host, Eileen Delrossi, is here.
Good morning.
Jose Cervantes, who is in studio. The rest of us are Zooming in anticipation of snow, which may not have arrived. The national debt is $38.848 trillion. We're looking at a low of 31, a high of 38 today. 100% chance of precipitation. And we thought it was going to be snow. Maybe it'll be rain.
Really picture over here.
So back in history, in 1820, the Missouri Compromise was signed into law by President James Monroe that allowed Missouri to enter the Union as a slave state, and Maine came into the Union as a free state, and makes the rest of the northern part of the Louisiana Purchase territory slave-free. Maine was originally part of the Massachusetts, but then got broken off to be its own thing. They're a little different up there, right? What do you think, John?
Yes, I love the Maniacs. They cook a wonderful breakfast.
Okay. In 1836, during the Texas Revolution, the Battle of the Alamo, after a 13-day siege by an army of 3,000 Mexican troops, the 187 Texas Volunteers, including Davy Crockett and Colonel Jim Bowie, defending the Alamo, were killed and the fort was captured. In 1857, the Supreme Court of the United States ruled 7-2 in the Dred Scott versus Sanford case that the Constitution does not confer citizenship on black people. That's pretty harsh. 1951, Cold War, the trial of Ethel and Julius Rosenberg begins. They were accused of selling nuclear secrets to the Russians.
Well, did they get convicted? It's a long time ago.
They did get convicted.
Oh, okay. Can we kill them?
Yeah,
Okay, thanks.
but some people still say they were wrongly convicted. In 1953, Georgy Malenkov succeeded Joseph Stalin as the premier of the Soviet Union and first secretary of the Communist Party in the Soviet Union. Joseph Stalin died yesterday, back in 1953. In 1957, Ghana became the first sub-Saharan country to gain independence from the British.
Hip, hip,
And
hooray.
the what?
Hip, hip, hooray.
Yeah. 1964, Nation of Islam leader Elijah Muhammad officially gave boxing champion Cassius Clay the name Muhammad Ali.
Who gave him that name?
Elijah Muhammad.
So who's Elijah Muhammad?
Elijah Muhammad was the leader of the Nation of Islam here in the United States.
Oh, cool. Thanks.
In 1779, Antoine-Henri Jomini, a Swiss-French general, was born. He wrote a book about Napoleon and Napoleon's wars called The Other War. The other big author on that was Karl von Clausewitz. They had different views. The reason Jomini is important, his book was adopted at West Point as the standard text on how to fight. And all the good Southern generals like Robert E. Lee, who graduated high up in his class, tried to follow Jomini. Ulysses S. Grant, who didn't do so well, did not. My history teachers told me that Grant had an early translation of Clausewitz in his saddlebags, and that's why he won.
Yeah, we are.
Okay. Yeah.
What? What'd you say, John?
That's YouTube.
That's true
So,
too?
Jose is telling me we're not live on YouTube, and we are live on YouTube. All set.
Okay. So, the 1932, John Philip Sousa passed away. American conductor, composer, led the Marine Corps band. 1935, local kid, Oliver Wendell Holmes Jr., Colonel in the Civil War, lawyer, Associate Justice of the Supreme Court, passed away. 1973, Pearl S. Buck, American novelist, passed away. Nobel Prize winner. Eileen, did you ever read her book, The Good Earth?
No, I have not read her book.
It was a big deal when I was in school. 1982, Anne Rand passed away.
Oh.
Do you have any idea?
Ayn Rand.
Yeah.
Yeah, Pearl Buck's buddy. They used to go bucking. They used to go bucking around. The Bucks.
Very doubtful.
Yeah, they did. Fact.
1984, Martin Niemöller. What? Go ahead.
Nothing. We're good. We're celebrating Pearl Buck's birthday.
Okay. Anne Rand, Martin Niemöller, pastor, theologian, passed away. He's the one who...
It's Pearl Buck's brother or brother-in-law.
No.
Huh. Thought he was.
No, but they're
to me.
born in the same year.
So they're twins.
Were they married? Did they have an intimate relationship?
No.
He stole her bicycle.
Okay, sorry, Cliff.
No, but he's the one who said, first they came for the Jews, and I said nothing. Then they came for the communists, and I said nothing. And they came for the labor unions, and I said nothing. And then they came for me, and there was no one left to say anything.
And that's truthful, too, today. How many people voted for state senate this week?
About 3,500.
Most people said nothing.
Was it 4.5%? I think, from the numbers we have now.
Crazy.
Yeah.
We get what we deserve.
Amen to that.
Today's the European Day of the Righteous, commemorating those who stood up against crimes against humanity on their own moral responsibility. So, as John said, we had an election Tuesday to replace Ed Kennedy, and we did not have a stunning turnout.
No, we did
Police
not.
was 590 voted out of our almost 79,000 registered voters. That's 4.55%. And out of that, Representative Anna Howard received 2,519 votes in Lowell.
Amazing power of the Democratic machine.
Sam Mees earned 545. Joe Espinola 504. So I voted around 7 p.m. and my polling station had about 800 votes recorded by that point. So that's about 22% of the total in one polling station.
All voting for Vanna.
No,
I voted around 4 o'clock, and they were estimating about 110 people at 4 o'clock at the senior center had voted.
I got a question from the audience. Did the weather play a part in the even lower voter turnout?
No, because it was nice. I went at first thing in the morning at 7 a.m. And I want to say I was the first one. And then at 4 o'clock, around the same time, Jose, my neighbor, was walking home, and she told me that she just voted, and she was number 101.
Now, Eileen, are we going to see you today on the broadcast, or are you just going to stay with your camera off?
I'm most likely going to stay with my camera off because I have a delay in Westford. Anthony does not. Anthony's bus driver is sick, so I'm going to be bringing him.
All righty, so I'm going to take your pin away. Gotcha.
Well, see, that's the thing, though. Regardless, people should get out and vote. Do you think that if it was 80 degrees out and sunny, they still would have gotten out?
Well, do you really think there'd be any change if Joe Espinola or Sam Meese won?
Yeah, I mean, that's true, too.
Well, do you think there'd be... I don't think there'd be any change. Cliff, do you think there'd be a change if Joe Espinola or Sam Meese had won?
I think that we would have heard more about what's going on down on Beacon Hill, and that might have caused a little bit of change in the troika down there.
In the what?
Troika.
Never heard the word before. Move on. Penelope.
Well, if Sam won, he would have been, what, one of 6 Republican senators at the State House. But, I mean, to your question, you would hope, regardless, that we're going to see some positive movement, even, no matter who won. But I agree with Cliff. You would have heard more. But with that might have ended up hurting the community in the short term, but in the long run, maybe benefiting it.
Well, in the meanwhile, we got a state senator who does not return calls, can't keep staff. So it's going to be interesting to see. Actually, we won't find out anything because she won't communicate with anybody. So the whole state house, for our section of the state, will be puzzlement. We won't know what they're doing.
Oh, we got an important election season here. Every state rep seat is up for grabs.
So's the state senate seat.
Yeah, so is that one. So, hopefully we'll see in November, and then we'll really be able to, although it's going to be midterm, other stuff. So you would hope the voter turnout, regardless, is going to be higher. But, we got to change that. People not getting involved. I mean, do you not understand the importance of these elections? I just can't. I don't understand why we just sit at home.
I mean, Jose, let's just say for conversational purposes.
Yeah.
You become the state senator. What can you do? Next to nothing.
Yeah, I mean, the only 2 things that come to mind is hope to amend the bill that they're trying to pass because there's the supermajority, and make sure that Lowell gets a bigger chunk of the change being handed down to this portion of the Merrimack Valley. That's about it, realistically.
I don't think there'll be any change. So, Cliff, you got any idea when Melanie's coming?
7 o'clock.
Understood.
And that's the reality of it. There's
I
not
don't think
much.
there'd be a lot of change. I just don't. Back over to Cliff, thanks.
John,
Hello,
she
Cliff.
is zooming in.
She's the, I'm
Zooming.
assuming.
Did you send her the link?
Yes, I did.
Good.
Did you look at the address codes when you got your link this morning?
No.
Okay.
I was just so happy to have the link that I focused right on that.
And you didn't even look out the window, didn't know if it snowed.
Oh my goodness.
Isn't that nice? Just come downstairs, hit a button, and you're on TV.
I did look out the window. I actually opened the back door.
Oh. But you had indicated earlier in the show that you didn't look.
I'm sorry that I had so indicated. All right. Was there any snow up there on Christian Hill, Eileen?
Hold on. Come on.
She's gonna look out the window now.
Yeah, there was a lot going on up here in Christian Hill last night. It is like a thick, heavy snow. The car is frozen again, like it was just another morning this week. And but even last night, my dog was crying, woke me up. There were, I want to say, 5 cops, like, in a tow truck, one in front of my house and then all the rest down the street. And this is like the second time this week that I've seen like 5 cops. When I got out of the school committee meeting on Wednesday night, there were 5 cops over by on East Merrimack Street there. So I feel like something's going on in the city. So I obviously checked my crime radar report, and I found out that a white sedan, which was on the tow truck, sideswiped a Dracut police cruiser last night, and that must have been what it was.
Well, that was careless.
But I wonder if Melanie has any more information, since she's the newswoman.
She might.
She may.
We'll find out.
Okay.
And how was the school committee meeting?
It was interesting. They wanted us to vote on the contracts, and the assistant superintendent contracts, I was very strong on waiting until we know what the budget looks like, because what I'm understanding is that schools are losing at the core, and we need more forward-facing staff. And then it turned into, why would we want to lose these administrators? They're doing a great job. The numbers are going up. And it's not about, I don't want to lose an assistant superintendent. I like working with them all. But I want to wait and be smart about what the rest of the budget looks like. So it was kind of like me, Dave, and Dominic on the same page. Conway and Committeeman Lay and Conway were on the same page, and Committeewoman McFadden, the mayor, and Committeeman Fred Bahu just wanted to give it to them. But so it failed on the floor.
Now, is the mayor having any? No, I'm sorry. So the mayor. What was the mayor's thoughts? I'm meaning Eric.
The mayor's thought was that we're moving in a positive direction. We need strong people, like the administrators at the helm. And there was one point that I kind of got a little like, until you have students in the Lowell Public Schools or work for them and see what it's like day in, day out. And I didn't realize, I didn't really even know his son didn't really go to Lowell Public Schools. But in my head, like, I've gone through it. I've been through it with my own kid. And I did apologize for saying that, because he kind of pointed it out. But they're just looking at numbers and the reports that are saying everything's going good in a better direction. I'm hearing something much different from people who are on the front lines. So, and I've seen different working for Lowell, and I've seen different with my own child in Lowell. So, yeah, it got a little intense at one point.
college board came out and said Massachusetts was best of all the states yesterday. I don't know.
Well, where's Lowell?
I don't know. I've been researching. I haven't gotten that kind of detail yet.
Lowell, it has done better, but that's coming off of COVID. You got to remember that. And so I looked it up the other day.
Excuses. What number are we, Eileen?
John, you're interrupting.
I understand, but I get a kick out of this Nikki Saugus answer. Oh, Cliff, oh my God, those are beautiful cabinets. Where did you get those from, Cliff? And how's Martha? It's called sidetracking.
So, John, I'm going to send you a comparison because I was interested. I looked up Westford schools compared to Lowell schools.
Well, can you put it up on your screen?
Yeah, actually, I can. Hold on one second.
Why don't you? It's a lot easier. Then we can share screen if it tells me to share screen or whatever.
You may have to give me permission.
Well, whatever you ask for, I will grant.
Okay. Like, that's good. Like, I wish every man said that to me.
Well, the thing is that if you send it to YouTube or Facebook, I got to shut all the screens off to get to that. So, like, Facebook's here and it shuts everybody else off. So, I'd rather just stick with Zoom.
Okay, hold on.
So last time I checked, last year, we were 13th lowest school system in the state. I don't know if that improved, but we were ranked bottom number 13.
Well, there's 350 towns in Massachusetts.
Yeah, we were
We were 13?
lowest. Like at the bottom, like the...
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So we're like 340.
And again, I'm sure that was last year. I'm sure the numbers have changed.
345.
So...
Okay. Yeah, that's the number we're looking for.
No, but this kind of breaks it down even better.
Good.
Hold on. Let me just get this up.
Well, why don't you work on that when you're ready? We'll pop in.
I'll let you know.
In the meantime, I'm going to go back to Cliff.
Okay. So, we're at war. The word is leaking out that during the negotiations, the Iranians were bragging to Steve Witkoff and the others about their enrichment, and the Iranians shamelessly boasted in talks that they had uranium for 11 nuclear bombs and evaded protocols. Iran's nuclear program would have been immune in months. That's not very good. J.D. Vance says the goal is to change Iran's mindset. And I think that's probably right. Their attitude is, we're the great Satan, death to America, we're going to get nuclear weapons. Not good.
Cliff, can you speak to when were they bragging about this?
Yeah, during the negotiations with the Americans.
So 3 weeks ago?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, John, can you go into share and allow me to present on the screen?
Well, I would, but I don't know where. Oh, share. No, show connections. Do you know where that would be on my menu bar?
In your menu bar. More. If you go under show CC notes, no. Settings. If you go under more and then settings, see if it gives you something to share.
I got notes. That ain't gonna work. Nah, ain't gonna work. Sorry, kiddo.
Oh, what about participants?
Okay, I'll go there.
And then if you would click on me.
Okay, I'll click on you. And it says mute, ask to start video, chat, add pin, replace pin, hide non-video participants, show self-view, make host, rename, put in waiting room, remove, and report.
John, if you move your arrow to the very bottom in the middle, is there a green button that says share?
Now there is, yes. I'll click on him and see what he does. So I got a share thing now, and I'm going to say share with Eileen. Give it a shot now, Eileen. It's lit up differently and everything. Wow. Took away Cliff's picture, not a good thing.
Oh, it's saying only the host can share with this meeting, share in this meeting. Can you make me like a host or for just a, yeah, it's still saying.
I don't have a problem with making anybody in, but now I have this little rinky-dink thing that just showed up with just 3 little things.
Share.
So I don't think it's worth all the effort. Can you tell me what you want to put on the screen, and I'll try to get the big screen back up again.
All right, I'll Facebook message you, okay?
I ain't gonna. I'm telling you, I'm not gonna put it up. So try to tell us what we would be saying.
Okay, so Wes, all right, so the state average for ELA in grades 3 through 8 is 57%. Lowell is at 39%. Oh wait, I'm sorry. The state average for grade, all right, actually let me go this way. All right, the state average for ELA 3 through 8 is 39%. Lowell is at 27%. The state average for ELA grade 10 is 57%. Lowell is at 27%. In math, the state average is 45%. The state average for math grades 3 through 8 is 41%. State average for grade 10 is 48%. And overall in Lowell, it's 25%. Science, the state average is 49%, and Lowell is 42%. In Westford, state average again is 57%, and Westford is at 89%. 46% in math is the state average. Westford's 86%, and 49% for science, and Westford's at 88% compared to Lowell.
And we're not tracking history.
Nope.
Which means we keep stumbling over the same mistakes time and time again. Oh well. So.
We're doing pretty good in science, it appears, though. Out of everything.
Yep. Okay, back to the war.
Well, 18 grand a student. I'm not satisfied. We get our $18,000 worth, Cliff.
No.
But it's public school. It's going to be okay.
Yeah, well,
everybody's going to get promoted again. Nobody's staying back. Yeah. Liam Skinner's doing a fantastic job.
Yeah, that's something that I don't agree with. If kids not producing, a kid should stay back. And
Liam Skinner looks at it a different way. We got to ask Liam to come in and ask him why he's promoting people who don't make the grade. Cliff, can you get a hold of Liam and see if he wants to come in, and we'll put him on the hot seat?
All right, I'll try.
Thank you.
I've heard other people on this address it and say it's, what is it, Desi? Is that who that doesn't want people staying back?
Then we have to talk to Vanna Howard doesn't talk to us. Yeah, so we're doomed. Yeah, state reps, they can only see state reps. That's the HR of the state. HR, you want a job at UMass, you got to know a state rep.
Yep.
So we're doomed. Nothing's going to change.
Well, that's the thing
Move to
now.
New Hampshire.
If your kid's failing, they go to summer school for 4 weeks and they pass.
They're going to get promoted anyway.
Yeah, you just go to summer school
So
and
enjoy
you
the
get
summer.
promoted.
Enjoy your youth. You're not going to be educated for the rest of your life. You can't read.
It's a disservice. It really is. It really is. You gotta. But what are you gonna do? You know, I mean, what can we do? And then parents will go on an uptake of, my kid failed. Well, your kid wasn't doing their work. Your kid didn't meet the standard requirement to pass. So, but yeah, I don't agree with that. If my kid's not doing good in school, then my kid earned herself a pass to repeat the whatever grade she's in. That's the reality of it. What is it?
Back over to you, Cliff.
Okay. So, back to the war. I've seen, I expect the rest of you have, I've seen pictures of women around the world who are of Persian extraction out dancing in the streets, happy with what's going on. But in the U.S., non-Persian women are protesting. So I'm not sure why we're having this opposition in the United States. I did find it interesting that Ismail Qani, the head of Iran's Quds force, had been executed by the Iranian Republican Guard Corps. He'd survived several assassination attempts so far, and including when the Israelis bombed Khomeini and he passed away. But he'd been taken into custody by the IRGC on suspicion of being a Mossad agent, an Israeli spy. I'm sure they think there is some Israeli spy in there somewhere. So, Senator Warren said, Donald Trump single-handedly starting another war with Iran is dangerous and illegal. America first doesn't mean dragging the United States into another forever war built on lies while ignoring the needs of Americans at home. The Constitution is clear. Only Congress can declare war. The Senate must come back in session immediately to vote up or down on a war powers resolution, which they did, and it failed. So I wonder, I should have gone back to look and see how she felt about going after Libya under President Obama and see how that went.
I think it's pretty cool we got rid of Kristi Noem.
Yes, I saw that
I'm
last
sorry,
night.
how does that apply to the Iraq War?
Well, it doesn't really, Cliff, but the ICE people are completely out of control. It's a calamity of a police organization, and I hope whoever Trump puts ahead of it will at least improve their communication skills. Right now, if they pull you out of the car, no one will just pull you out of. They leave your car on the side of the road, running, toss you in the van, and they send you off to Indiana or Minnesota or wherever the hell they're going to send you. And the local police are going to find your car. They're not going to know. We found Cliff's car, but we don't know where he is. There's no communication to the local police that they scooped you. And when you call Homeland Security, they say email us. And then when you email them, they don't respond. Yeah. So here we're all worried, where the hell is Cliff? And he's having breakfast down in South Carolina in the ICE facility.
Yep, can't get a hold of anybody, no matter who calls, lawyers. We'll get back to you.
We have some guy from Massachusetts, I think, that died of a tooth infection while in ICE custody. Completely unacceptable. all under Christy Nome. Back to the war, Cliff. Cliff wants to talk about the war.
John,
Cliff.
given that the local police don't talk to ICE, how would they find out anything?
Well,
I mean, we are a sanctuary state, right?
No.
no, we're not.
We act like one. We quack like one.
Listen,
We walk like one.
I know you don't like the answer, but we're not a sanctuary state. And I think that the tow companies, when they tow your car in a snowstorm, the tow company must tell the police station that they've towed your car. It's not optional. They must. So I think that ICE must tell a local police station who they've got in their custody from your town. They must.
Or at least family members when they're trying to find out.
Call
you know?
the doggone local cops and say, we just scooped Cliff Krieger off of Manson Street, and he's in our custody. He's down in Arkansas this morning having his bowl of Special K.
Yeah, there's plenty of cases where people literally go weeks, in some cases even months, not knowing where their family member is.
And under Christy Nome, this was the accepted practice that she developed.
Did you see
So,
who
John,
put? Oh,
Tell me about all the bad cases down in Tennessee, Kentucky, Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana, North, South Dakota, Idaho. What were there were a lot of bad cases down there? Or just in some places where the local government was resisting
How would you even
the
know?
federal writ? John, I'm talking.
How would you even know? How would I know? Since ICE
Like-
won't talk to me, how would I know?
The newspapers.
Oh, well, Melanie, because we'll find out how good they are communicating with the newspaper.
yeah, but you can also present. I see what you were doing there, Cliff. But you can also present the argument that the reason you hear it in the quote unquote sanctuary cities is because they want to expose that, and you don't hear that in these red states that you mentioned, is because they don't need the bad press. I'm sure if you dig deep enough, there is plenty of cases everywhere of people getting their window bashed in and no warrant and thrown, like John stated, thrown in the back of a van and disappeared.
Hey, comment from the audience. Anyone who listens to our crooked Senator Warren, they have a screw loose because she's been lying to us, to the citizens of Massachusetts, for decades.
You know what I'm going to say. Why is she still there? Vote her out.
Only Democrats vote.
Majority unenrolled, and we still can't get people to vote. I mean, so, but yeah, did you see who they put, who he already picked? I know Cliff wants to get back to the war to replace Nome.
No.
It's Senator Moken. So he's the guy that got into, I'm sure there's plenty of good things about him, but he became famous a few years ago because he got into a huge argument with the Teamsters union leader. And he was like, let's go, we'll fight right now. And like got off his seat and was ready to fight the guy in the middle of a trial. Bernie had to calm them both down. So, but I mean, he's talking a good game already. Hopefully he follows through where he's like, I want to work with Democrats. We got to cool the temperature. We got to do better. So hopefully he follows through and kind of.
Comment from the audience, and we're going back to Cliff. I'm, if no fan of Christy Nome, but it's no secret that federal agents have more qualified immunity than local police. Prosecuting federal agents for violating rights is a lot harder than doing it locally or state. It is what it is. We need to change the law. Back to Cliff.
So when is Christy Nome leaving the office?
She was fired yesterday.
And what does that mean to you?
Hopefully, and it's only hopefully because it's the government who, Trump is appointing another one of his friends to run the organization, And it's kind of like he takes another double stuffed Oreo out of the package and goes like, maybe this one won't crack. That's all it really is. He's hired another one of his friends who has zero experience having a staff of thousands of people who work for Rice. And he's just shaking the dice. What experience does this man have?
It's not just ICE, it's the whole
But
VHS.
I would say, does this guy have any has he ever had a staff of over 5 in his life?
As far as I'm concerned, no. He has not had.
So Trump's just rolling the dice. It's foolish.
So Kristi Noem is getting a lateral arabesque, right?
Now, when you say arabesque, Cliff, to the audience, what does that mean?
Probably what it means to me.
Okay, then we'll move right along.
So,
I don't know
and
what the
she's
word means,
not
Cliff. I
changing
don't know what
jobs until the 31st of March.
Cliff, I don't know what arabesque means. Please define it.
It's a ballet move.
Oh my God.
Oh. Now I know where I heard that
Hey,
word
that's
when
a
my kid was
Republic-
doing ballet
That's
back in.
Republican talk. That's what we're going to start to call that now. Republican talk.
What is it?
Now,
Oh, those are some.
Remember,
For
John,
more Republican talk that you don't understand, back to Cliff.
John, you remember when you did not read Peter's Principle?
I don't. Sorry, I have short-term memory loss. But that's okay. I'll grant you I didn't read. I'm not a reader, Cliff. My wife's the reader in the family.
It would be long-term memory. The book's been out for a couple of decades.
Well, I can guarantee you every book that's came out, I've probably only read 4 in my lifetime. In school, when I was in high school, I cheated like the Dickens. I used to take my paper and put it on one of my lady friends' my girlfriend's desk to my right or my left. They would do the test for me. I didn't have to study until I got to funeral school, and I graduated at the top of my class there because I had to study, because I couldn't put the paper on somebody else's desk. Otherwise, I would have done that.
The Peter Principle is,
We don't care, Cliff.
yes, you do.
No, we don't.
The Peter Principle is everyone gets promoted to their level of incompetence.
That's why I'm here.
Yep. So, Kristi Noem is going to another federal executive office job.
He's going to roll the dice and let her mess something else up.
Isn't it a brand new department that they're just really, just like the organization she gave $149 million contract to, just got made up yesterday type of thing?
Polishing the pennies we don't use anymore.
Yeah,
Department?
I'm more than
Polishing
certain.
the pennies, yes.
Like the even the name of it sounds like the organization she's gonna lead sounds ridiculous. It sounds like they literally just made it up right before.
Polishing the pennies.
Yeah. Probably be more productive doing that than she was running DHS. But
All right, so I'm going to stop picking on Cliff. So back over to Cliff for more interesting banter.
oh, I thought you were gonna say a Republican talk. I was waiting
No,
for
no,
it.
the next time he goes off to he gives us one of those cloudy words.
He does that to throw us off. You know that, right? He just. Sorry, Cliff. Go ahead.
Okay, so she's going to be a special envoy for the Shield of America, a new Western Hemisphere security arrangement.
Wow. Cliff, did you know that she was fired when the show started this morning?
Yes,
Okay.
but John, because you don't look at the notes, you don't realize that that's on page 6.
We're never going to get to page 6. I got a comment from the audience. Once again, like I'll say, Mr. Cervantes, we voted for an audit that's being blocked, so it doesn't matter what we vote. That's from Jay.
Oh, the good thing is we got an auditor that isn't bending the knee, and that's what we need more of. We need more elected officials that will just keep fighting, and we just got to find them and get them in there.
And I tell you, look if you got a kid in Massachusetts, tell him to move to New Hampshire. Tell her to move to New Hampshire. get out of here. This state's nuts. Everybody, no matter how lousy you do in school, you're getting promoted.
And the answer is to homeschool your children
And move to New Hampshire.
no, you can stay here. If you're
Why
homeschooling your
pay
children.
the higher taxes?
They pay high property tax up there.
They don't have any income tax,
Yeah.
which is lower than, it's higher than your real estate taxes.
So anyway, back to Iran. Our representative, Lloyd Trahan, said, President Trump is drawing the United States into another foreign conflict, returning American service members to the Middle East once again, less than 5 years after the end of our 20-year war in Afghanistan. The American people deserve answers. Congress has a constitutional responsibility to decide whether our nation goes to war, and that responsibility cannot be bypassed. Any military action against Iran must be debated and authorized by Congress. Of course, that ignores the fact that don't apply those rules to Democrat presidents. Do you think she knows that Afghanistan is in a war with Pakistan right now?
No.
Did you know that?
I don't think most of the audience knows that. I think you're the only person in the room that realizes that. So most of us don't realize that.
I agree with
All
John's
right.
statement.
So, in the House of Representatives, they took a vote, and they failed to implement the war powers. So President Trump is free to press on.
Isn't that for the second time this week, Cliff?
No, that's the first time in the House of Representatives, and they also failed the vote in the U.S. Senate.
Well, the rumor is they're going to try it again today.
Yeah, because they took the vote, yesterday, right? So,
Correct, yes.
I mean, the optics of it, Israel's just hell-bent on controlling the region. I mean, is this going to be another Iraq where we're yelling weapons of mass destruction, and then when everything's said and done, it was really just about the oil? Especially after what we did in Venezuela. I mean, we got to look at things objectively, too. And it's hard for not to have that little thought after what we did in Venezuela to take over their oil, that we're really not just going in Iran to take control of the, I can't think of the name right now, their water port there. What is it, the Bermuda Stretch or whatever it's called?
Hormuz, Strait of Hormuz.
Yes, that's what it is. So, I mean, I can see why people want to push back, but at the end of the day, if there's nuclear weapons there, then we gotta. At the end of the day, Iran has been a thorn on our side for a long time.
I got another comment from the audience, and Laurie Manhans is another politician who is out of touch with the citizens of this crooked state. Back to Cliff.
Okay, back to the new Secretary of Homeland Security, Mark Wayne Mullen, as you know, is a Native American, so he brings an additional perspective to these issues.
Is he a Navajo?
No, I don't think so. He's from Oklahoma.
Okay. I like that talk that they had during World War II.
It's interesting that the Congress is concerned about war, but they're not concerned about Homeland Security, the danger of terrorist attacks. They're not funding the Department of Homeland Security. So those people that are working are doing it on their own dime.
Isn't it already funded for the year? I thought it was more of a partial shutdown because they're trying to get more money to fund ICE a little more than what they've already been. The huge increase that they've had. I mean, 2024 was what, $9 to $10 billion. If they get this increase that they're asking for now, and again, a lot of numbers out there, you can look it up yourself. They're projected to be at a $90 billion budget. That's a huge increase. When it takes $110 billion to provide SNAP for the whole country, that we're all up in arms in, but we're going to increase the budget of ICE to $90 to $100 billion. So, DA, go ahead.
ICE is funded. It got funded under the big, beautiful bill, but the Transportation Security Agency is not funded, Coast Guard's not funded. A bunch of other outfits under Homeland Security are not funded.
So in this budget they're trying, which is for the partial shutdown, there is no ICE money there? As far as, and again, you get 5 different headlines, 5 different stories, but as far as I'm concerned, is because their biggest thing is trying to get more money for ICE.
And I got a comment from the audience. We know what the U.S. wants. We know what the U.S. does for Israel. What does Israel do for the U.S.? Other than get us into many wars to profit our war machine. That's from Bart. Back over to you, Cliff.
Yeah, I think that we are supporting Israel in this just because we don't want to see them annihilated. That would be, in my mind, a big blot on our history. And what they do for us is they provide a homeland for Jews from around the world who have felt that they didn't have safety and security in the nations in which they were born. So they moved to Israel. And otherwise they'd be moving to New York. So I think that's what's going on. There's been a falling off of support for Israel, especially among Democrats, and support for Palestinians. We hear people claiming that there's genocide against the Palestinians. I don't think that that's the case. When you look back in history, back in 1970, in Saudi Arabia, in Gaza, there were 340,000, and today there's 2 million. So if the nation of Israel is doing a genocide, it's doing it the wrong way. On the other hand, the chant from the river to the sea sounds pretty genocidal to me. It sounds like people who want to annihilate the Israelis from the Jordan River to the Mediterranean.
And I know we don't have a lot of time left in this segment, but there was a lot to unpack there. I mean, I think that at the end of the day, what the U.S. gains from protecting Israel is air dominance in the region. I mean, I'm surprised that as a, Air Force, you wouldn't have highlighted that. I mean, you know that. Having Israel's back, we literally have dominance in that area.
Well, if you look at the whole picture, quite blunt about it, okay?
Yeah, I love it.
Western Europe wouldn't exist unless we were in NATO.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay? Israel wouldn't exist unless we were Israel's buddy.
Yeah.
And I like the way things are going. Can you imagine if Russia was all of Europe?
Oh, absolutely not. Or if Russia was the one that was helping Israel?
And if the all of Islam took over all of Israel, the Jewish people would be gone from the planet.
Absolutely. You know? No, I agree
That's the
100%.
reality of it all. So the
Yeah.
United States protects different turf from different people.
I mean,
Thoughts, Cliff?
Well, I don't think that all the Jewish people will be gone, but a big chunk of them. I'd say about 50%.
And then have no foundation to run to. Israel's a beautiful country. I had a wonderful time there. People are very friendly.
I've heard that it's
And just like the United States, you have some very devoted religious people who live there that are Jewish. But in the United States, you have very devoted Christians, very devoted Muslims, very religious people live in this country too. So hey, it is what it is. Cliff, we're going to run off to break land. And do you want to have the last word here?
No.
Okay. And we'll go with whatever shows up here. Because I haven't looked at this camera. It's a snowy thing. All right, we'll put the music on. So, Cliff, I got no Melanie yet.
okay.
Musician is 2-hour delay in school. We got about 10 seconds. Okay, Cliff, back to you. The mic's back on. I'm gonna quit this program here. Quit this, Cliff. Melanie's here. Go ahead, Cliff.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to City Life Show. I'm Cliff Krieger, your host. We have our co-host Eileen Delrossi. Hello, Eileen. Hello, Eileen. Oh, well. And we have Melanie Gilbert has just signed in, reporter for the Lowell Sun.
Good morning, Cliff. I have breaking news for you. So I was reading the New York Times this morning, and an article called What Kristi Noem Should Do After President Trump Fired Her. And the second paragraph, it says, not because the defenestrated secretary. So there's that word that I've been trying to work into my copy for months and months and months. And now this New York Times writer has scooped me. So you had sent me an email ages ago about defenestration. Am I saying it right? Defenestration.
Defenestration.
Yes, and ever since then I've been on the lookout for it, and this is a first time. I even highlighted it. The first time I've seen it. So that should make your day. It certainly made my day.
It
so
does.
How are you?
Good. And so you're from home?
Yes, yeah. You know what? I was actually considering, I thought, you know what? How bad can it be, right? And I was thinking about going out and driving in, and it's a skating rink out there. I give Jose a lot of credit. I don't know how he got up there, but I don't know what it's like in Lowell, but it's a mess. We're a little bit further south from you, so I imagine you're further north, so it's got to be worse. But it's a skating rink out there. I don't see any movement. No tire tracks, no footprints, nothing.
It's a good day. It's a good day to go back to bed.
Yeah, exactly, John. Exactly. You're lucky you can just walk down the stairs. That's kind of a nice thing. So, Jose, how did you do it? Did you just ice skate? Did you put on your ice skates and skate over?
I thought about walking over, but no. I live right around the corner. I live right down the street, right in back of the bakery, so it wasn't too bad.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah. The
well,
road.
Be careful. Be careful anyway, because seriously, you can't even walk. I just shuffled around, and I thought, I think I'm going to do I think I'm going to take John's suggestion and phone in.
Hey, I watched the TV show on a channel called E about Dr. Phil. And they scandalized his broadcast. And they brought the Boston Globe up. I said, boy, my lucky day. Melanie's coming tomorrow. She's definitely going to know about this. But I guess the Boston Globe backed away from the scandalous article about Dr. Phil all over money. Have you ever heard of such a thing?
I'm gonna, I'm at my computer now. No, I didn't see that in the Globe.
No, I think it's 2000. It was an old episode. I think it was 2017 about this Dr. Phil business.
Oh, okay.
But I was surprised. What happened was Dr. Phil's people didn't like what the Globe had put in about Dr. Phil. And they said that we're going to sue your company, and it's going to be a very expensive lawsuit. And they wrote to the owner of the paper. And the owner of the paper called the Globe and said, kill the story.
Oh, interesting.
I never heard of such a thing.
Yeah, it's very interesting. I've been reading a lot about that Jeffrey Epstein. I'm reading, Julie Brown was the Miami Herald reporter who re-broke the story. He was convicted. My facts are kind of sketchy because I didn't cover that case. But, he was convicted of not child sex abuse at that time, but of prostitution, like soliciting a prostitute, which, if you can't solicit a prostitute when they're age 14, it's called rape. So anyway, but the U.S. attorney struck a deal. He goes to jail for, 13 months or something like that, gets out, continues his life, and in 2010. And in 2018, this reporter, Julie Brown of the Miami Herald, thinks, what happened here? How did a guy, she talks to the Palm Beach Police Department, the detectives who investigated the case, who were really upset about the sentence that he got, the sweetheart deal that he got. And so she reinvestigates it and does a 3-part series, which opens the whole thing all over again, which leads to the FBI investigation, which leads to his arrest, which leads to, him being jailed on Rikers, which, potentially led to his suicide. So, it was really interesting. She said there was tons of pressure put on her and the paper and the publisher and all the reporters to withdraw the reporting, not only to stop the reporting, but then once it was printed, to retract it. And I thought it was really interesting. That was 2019. And she said I'm right in the middle of her book right now, but she's at the point where she feels like her trash is being gone through and she's being followed. So I think, it's hard to tease out, John. It's a really good point about credibility and making sure that the story that you're writing can be sourced, is valid, is honest, isn't sort of winging it. Again, balancing that, which is professionalism, which we should expect from every reporter, and every editor who edits them, with balancing that against, that there are people who just don't like, they just don't like bad press, and they're going to come at you. So I don't know in the Dr. Phil which case it was, but I'm definitely going to look that up. But
I'll say this, Melanie. Okay, above all, people worship money over everything.
Yeah.
And so when somebody calls me and said, "Look, John, you might win this case, but it's going to cost you a hell of a lot of money in lawyers, millions of dollars in lawyers, and you're going to win in the end, but we have lawyers millions of dollars worth."
Yeah.
You really have to take a look and, do I really want it that bad?
Yeah, I know. These are choices we all have to make, right? And whether it's at the lower level or it's at the higher level, owners of multi-million-dollar publications, they have to decide. I had read a story, as a matter of fact, in her reporting at Vanity Fair, a reporter had written a long piece about Jeffrey Epstein and included some copy in there that he got wind of, that Epstein got wind of and didn't like. So he had a lot of sources in the news world, well, all over, in the political world too. And Graydon, I can't remember his name, the editor of Vanity Fair, struck that from the article. And the reporter was really upset. So, editors have final say. If they can justify it, they earn their chops with their reporters. If they can't justify it, they lose them. So there's a lot. I don't know about Dr. Phil, and I've never had a case where my writing has been pulled. We're very careful, especially with crime reporting, to say alleged and to quote directly from court documents. I bring up the Corey Robinson case, for instance. He wasn't happy about that reporting, and he let it be known all over town. But all of that reporting came directly from primary source documents. If the judge says it, take it up with the judge. If the prosecutor says it, take it up with the prosecutor. If the defense attorney says it, take it up with the defense attorney, but don't take it up with me. I mean, all of that could be sourced. So sometimes we write about uncomfortable things, And I can see how people get unhappy about that. I can see how you don't like to watch bad things or read bad things come out about you. But if they're functionally true, it's not opinion. It's stated as part of the public record. You just kind of gotta kind of take it and not shoot the messenger. Let me put it that way. So
before we go back over to Cliff, I got a message from two messages I want to read from the audience. Good morning, Melanie. I feel bad for Jose, who was looking forward to one of those delicious donuts.
I know, thwarted again, Jose.
Thank you for bringing that up.
Next to text, journalist Whitney Webb also did a fantastic job on Epstein's Circle. Back over to Cliff. Back over.
Okay. Well, I will just jump in one last time. Last night I watched Netflix Scoop about the BBC getting that interview with Prince Andrew. And I highly recommend that. I'm new to the Epstein case. I didn't really follow it when it was unfolding, just peripherally. But now, I'm really following it ever since the DOJ dropped all 3 million files. So I've been really looking into it. And so I recommend for people who are watching out there, if you want something to view, Netflix Scoop. And it's about the interview with Prince Andrew and the hubris. It's really sort of astonishing. I was cringing the entire time I was watching it because I was thinking this guy has no idea how bad he sounds. And it's sort of a lesson.
Epstein, I got my fill of Epstein on a podcast called Dictators.
Oh, I'm writing this all down,
now,
John.
On the podcast Dictators, he's one of them that's listed. And he was very careful to break the law where there were no laws, on his private island that had no laws.
Right.
He was very careful. He never touched a kid where there was a law. Back over to Cliff.
So since we've wandered off to Jeffrey Epstein.
By way of defenestration.
Yes.
So can I add something to what Melanie was saying? And if the police report said it, then the police said it. And have you guys heard about Britney Spears?
Oh, DUI or what was that?
Yeah,
I didn't read the article yet. Yeah, I just saw that this morning.
Ventura County.
Ventura County.
Well, yeah, I'm not saying any of those people are right. I'm saying it's part of the public record, and that makes it fair use. It's not me saying it. It's the official, wrong or right, at that time, at that moment in time in reporting, it's the official record, and I can report it without being, fear of being sued because it's part of the official record. So we're not saying it. The record is saying. Now, if the record is wrong, obviously, and with all my reporting, I feel I can confidently say I try to circle back on all those kinds of stories and close the loop and say, okay, it's not just a one and done. Corey Robinson wasn't just he wasn't arrested. He he appeared for a court hearing, but Corey Robinson
Was he found guilty?
No, it was a technicality.
The answer is yes or no. Was he found guilty?
No, it's not yes or no. It was
Yes, it is.
No.
There was a I can't remember the wording, John, and I have to go back. It's 7:00 in the morning, but the witness didn't show, and so he was there. There's no witness. There's no case. So
Melanie, I'm old enough that I've had a lot of people in my life disappoint me when the rubber hits the road. They don't want to play. They brought their boyfriend or their husband up on charges, and they really love that guy.
yeah,
And they let everything go because they don't care they get slapped around. They love that guy, and they love the lifestyle that they have.
yeah, it's a real challenge with criminal case dismissed due to no-show witness. So it wasn't innocent or guilty. Innocent or guilty, it was dismissed. So
So he's never found guilty.
because it was dismissed. I can't.
But I know you don't want to say it. I know you don't want to say it, Melanie. But he was never found guilty.
No, I don't. It's not that I don't want to say it. It's I don't want to say it because that's not what happened. I have to say what the record showed, and the record showed failure to prosecute. You can't be found guilty or innocent because there's a failure to prosecute.
Was he found guilty?
Failure to prosecute.
No,
It's
he
not
was
not
he was
guilty,
not- he
and
was
it's
not
not.
found guilty.
Yeah, well, my point in this whole thing is that, and this argument or this debate clarifies it, is that you have to say what the record says. I can't put my spin on it. So I can't say little city councilor Corey Robinson, I'm just looking at the headline now, that's why I'm looking off screen, found not guilty, because that's not factually correct. And that would be like the opposite bad thing to say. When you're saying reporters might report things that aren't factually correct because they just decided to make the facts whatever they wanted, let's say.
Well, and to my end, Melanie, it came out as if and I like you both. Don't take.
Oh yeah,
it wrong, okay?
look, I don't take it.
It came out as if you don't like Corey Robinson, and that was my takeaway from the whole story.
That's, I think that's an egregious, statement, John. I don't dislike or like. I do my job. So my opening paragraph there was, after more than a year of motions, filings, and at least 12 court hearings, the criminal case of Commonwealth versus Corey Robinson was dismissed due to a no-show witness. I mean, that's a failure of the Commonwealth. I wanted to do follow-up reporting and interview the DA's office and find out what the heck happened here. Why didn't your witness show? Why didn't you make sure that witness came to court? That's a failure of justice. And they didn't, in my mind, they didn't follow through and do their job. So, and that was to his benefit, definitely. You have the right to face your accusers. There was no accuser, so it was dismissed. The judge dismissed it.
I'm not going to stay on this issue, but I'll conclude with this. I've sat with people, and the wife has cigarette burns on her hand, and the husband proudly put them there.
Yeah.
And she says nothing about it. And this kind of lifestyle happens in our neighborhood. In lovely Lowell, Massachusetts, it happens down in the town you live in. People put up with. I have male friends whose wives are out of control with spending, and it just goes on, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah. Well, in this case, she filed a police report, so it kicked off the whole thing. She did do something about it, but the judge said the witness that the Commonwealth indicated is essential in order for it to go forward is not here. Judge John Coffey said during the bench trial held Wednesday at Lowell District Court, and this is back in December 2024, in fact, could be upwards to an hour away. I'm dismissing for want of prosecution. And there you go. And so I liked that story because I had written, 12 stories on this. He was a sitting city councilor. It never happened before. So it was news, but I like to close it off. I didn't want to just say, oh no, he's been accused of alleged domestic violence and then not follow up on it. That's not good. So we followed the story and we ended the story.
Well, Melanie, I hear what you're saying, but the word is out there amongst the city councilors that he rubbed Melanie the wrong way. And that's the story that's out there. I know you might not like, that's not true, he never did, but that's how the councilors feel about it.
That's speculation, and that would be as wrong to put out there, and that's what we call rumor and speculation. You prove it. And I think, that's where a lot of...
Yeah, you're right. They won't speak in public about it. You're right.
No, and so if you can't speak to it in public, what do you want me to do with that?
Well, his girlfriend changed her mind.
Yeah, and I reported that. But she didn't drop the case. So, I think I try to stay out. I'm not on Facebook. I don't get involved in the keyboard.
You're kidding me? Everybody on Facebook thinks you're reading our stuff. Oh, Melanie's reading our stuff on Facebook. Back over to Cliff.
Yeah, I don't do that. I don't go down that rabbit hole because it's not news. And, I think we talked a long time ago. I saw this, I can't remember what it was. People, they think they're experts and they're speaking out of their elbow. And I can't speak out of my elbow.
Okay, well,
I don't have that luxury.
Let me read you some text, okay?
Okay.
First one from Jeannie Balkus. I see Ms. Gilbert is continuing her political assassinations of people she does not like.
Is this real time or is this...
This morning. Just right now.
Oh, this morning. Okay.
Right now, the woman's name, and she signed it, is Jeannie Balkus.
She's entitled to her opinion.
Okay,
You know,
now, continuing with the text. Dr. Phil is a product of Oprah Winfrey. He's just as much a fraud as she is. That's from Bart. This state, we have a media who only tell half the story. I applaud Melanie for letting the public hear the story. That's from Jay.
oh, thank you, Jay. It's always
Just a second. The Kingpin's here from Corey Robinson, spinning it again. The witness she's referring to wasn't an alleged victim. It was some guy that lived at the complex and said he saw me around.
Oh no, I didn't say the witness was the alleged victim.
Back over.
Right.
You could keep bantering if you want.
Right, you have to read the story. A lot of people don't read the story. They read Facebook. They do the echo chamber. They don't link into the story because they don't have a subscription or the story is metered. And so what they read are the comments to the comments, and it's an echo chamber. And that's not news. And that's why I stay out of there, because it's ill-informed, it's incomplete, it's erroneous. And you know,
And it's surprising for me to hear that. Back over to Cliff.
All right, I'm going to drag you back into the echo chamber.
All right, I love it. Let's go there.
And we'll see what Jose and Eileen have to say also.
Cliff, you are not an echo chamber, man. You come prepared.
So, there are three theories about why Epstein is a real problem. One is that he messes around with little kids.
Right.
A pedophilia.
Well, that's not theories. That's proven. He was convicted and went to jail. Work release, but went to jail. So that's a fact.
So the other is that he is part of an espionage network, supposedly with the Israelis. And the third is that he is involved in high finance manipulation and using inside information to make things happen. Which is the worst of these? Do we believe any of these are true? Yes, we do. We believe some are true. But which would be the worst?
Well, again, it's what you can prove. And so they proved that he was raping children under the age of consent. It's not sexual consent, it's not prostitution. Well, his charges were prostitution, and that's what he was found guilty of in his sweetheart deal back in 2010. But when the FBI got involved in 2019, it was sex trafficking. Now, he never came to trial for that, so those are allegations because he died by suicide in his jail cell. All three of those things can be true.
Allegedly suicide.
Well, exactly. So all three of those things can be true, but it's not what's true. It's what you can prove. As the city council is finding out with the senior center, it may be true that the intention was to gift the senior center to the city, but it's not factually true that document exists.
That's why it's got to go to court.
Well, exactly. So you have a moral truth, and then you have a legal truth. And the court of law doesn't always look at what the moral truth.
No, we're going to go with a jury trial.
Have they decided that?
We got to go with it. I'm just no one has decided.
I see what you're saying. Okay.
No one's decided anything. It's all out for speculation because the majority of the city council thinks that half want to cave, like we did with the city councilor seats. We just caved, and half want to fight. Right.
Well, it speaks to Cliff's point, though, is that it's what you think you know and what you can prove. And the city solicitor, as I understand it, is saying you can't prove that was their intention because it's not in the official documents. It's not in the legal documents. They might have told you this, but they did something else. Is that reprehensible? Probably.
Sliding back over to Jeffrey Epstein for just a second.
So it's what you can prove.
From the audience this morning, one of the people sent this in, and it says, how old was the Blessed Virgin Mary when she had Jesus? And some say she was between 12 and 16.
Yeah.
And it's an interesting point. Back over to you, Cliff.
I think that...
Immaculate conception. Immaculate.
But she was 15.
Good one, Eileen. There you go. I hear a lawyer in you, lady.
So,
Side note, Melanie, do you know anything that went on in Centerville last night, pushing Hill, Beacon Street? There were like 5 police cruisers and a tow truck with a white sedan all lined up in front of my house at like 1 a.m.
Oh my gosh, well, I'll have to check in with Aaron and find out what that's all about. I'm sure he's all over that. At 1 o'clock in the morning?
Yeah, I checked the
Okay.
front radar and it said a white sedan had hit a, 'cause I live on the Drake line, kind of, and it said a white sedan had hit Drake police cruiser, and that's what they were in pursuit of, because it was a white sedan on the tow truck. It was right in front of my house.
Oh, I hope nobody was hurt. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll check into it.
Comment from the audience. Watching President Clinton and Madam Secretary Clinton have to answer the questions on Epstein is barely being reported. No, I saw some video from that. I thought it was pretty cool.
I haven't watched that yet. I mean, if they had inappropriate contact with minors, I think that's a story. I think the whole thing is sick, twisted, and wrong. And I give that Julie Brown, that reporter, a lot of credit for staying with it. And, she was accused of the same things apparently I'm being accused of behind my back, is that she had an animus against Jeffrey Epstein. She doesn't like rich people. She's being fed information by the victims, blah, 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 blah. And it turned out, it was the FBI got involved and the New York Attorney General's office opened a new case against him, not for prostitution, but for sex trafficking. So, I mean, part of the job is taking heat. But I'll take that versus being accused of not doing my job. So if doing my job gets me into trouble, bring it. That's all I got to say about that. All right, Cliff, back to you.
So, Cliff,
you want to make some comment on the Epstein situation?
Jose has a comment, and I have a comment from the audience.
Yeah, Jose has a comment on everything. You know that. So we'll start from where you guys started. I think that, and again, speculation, if they would have had a strong enough case, whether the witness showed up or not, I would imagine that the Commonwealth would have just taken over the case and, he'd be walking around with a guilty or at least follow through on the jury. And on the Epstein, that's a tough question because in one hand, you're raping, assaulting, whatever you want to call it, underage girls. And on the other hand, his girlfriend there her dad was like a high-ranking Israeli, like I know something was going on over there. So who's to say he wasn't a plan? He wasn't become a CIA asset after the first time he got arrested. Like there's so much there. And what's worse, national security or, one's morally, one's just legally wrong. They're both wrong. They're both horrible. So I know you had a comment.
That's what we call a means to an end, right? And so is there a greater good? You use clearly a troubled person, Epstein, and criminal person to advance other motives that the public can't see. I don't know if that's true. Julie Brown suggests that in her book, that he was working for Mossad to gather, how do you say it, compromising information on political leaders. That he was using, they tapped into what is clearly a depraved and disturbed individual to advance their agenda.
Jose, I'll give you the last word on this, then I'm going to comment from the audience.
I read something yesterday. I was going to follow up on it today, that he was given $500 million to quote unquote invest by, I wish I remembered his name off the top of my head, and that's really what funded the island and everything like that. So again, I wouldn't be surprised with Israel involved and all that. And
well, why did the IRS have to step in? How did he get all that money illegally? Now, comment from the audience and go back to Cliff.
Okay.
Didn't they marry at 14 back like 500 years ago, or is that just a myth? But back over to Cliff.
100 years ago.
Well, we
forget
can't
500.
prove it. This is the whole point of this conversation. We don't know because there's no birth record.
Understood. Back over to Cliff.
So we can only report what we think we know, and that's the Bible. But that's not like a legal document.
Respectfully, back over to Cliff.
So Romeo and Juliet, how old were they?
I think you're right. I think they were 14. And I mean, the assumption is, if I'm remembering from my high school English class, that the assumption was 14 to 16, that they were high schoolers like us. But yes, I think a lot of this stuff, Lolita or Taxi Driver, with Jodie Foster appearing in a film when she was what, 14, 13, 14? I'd have to look that up as a prostitute. You can't be a prostitute when you're 14.
Well,
It's illegal. You're not of the age of consent. You're a sex trafficked victim. And so I think our language over time has changed as we've begun to understand the limits to behavior.
But like I said before, Melanie, in this country, he never touched the kid in this country. He only did it on his private island where the United States laws did not exist. He didn't break any American law.
Well, that's not what the victims say in Palm Beach. There's extensive testimony that 14-year-old.
I heard the same thing, but there's no proof.
Well, there's their witness testimony, but it never came to court. So they never got their day in court. They never testified because in Florida there was a sweetheart deal to call it prostitution, even though they weren't of the age of consent. And Alex Acosta, I think you probably remember him as the labor secretary under the first Trump administration. He had to resign because he's the one who signed off on that sweetheart deal. And that's why Julie Brown of the Miami Herald reinvestigated the case, because she was like, how did this guy get this deal? Like, how is that even possible?
Comment from the audience, if the New York media wasn't crooked and in the tank with the Democrats, then the prison guards would have to answer the questions of how the suicide. Actually, I don't think it was suicide. I think he was taken out.
Well, there's like the 17 missing minutes in the Watergate tapes, where President Nixon's secretary said she must have taken her foot off and erased that part.
Erased by mistake, yep.
Yeah, erased by
mistake. That's a good secretary.
Right. I mean, we can't prove that that's not the case. That's her witness testimony. Proof she's telling that she's not telling the truth.
How did you like Clinton's I don't remember?
Well, it's exactly. I thought, I thought his behavior with Monica Lewinsky was egregious. I was appalled that a boss, this wasn't just the president, this was a workplace discrimination harassment. You can't do that with your subordinates. And, I thought that all of that was appropriate. So
it happens in town hall. Happens everywhere.
I know.
Girl meets boy behind the desk.
Right. It's good until people, not good. It works until it doesn't. And so, and usually it works until it doesn't is because the news gets wind of it and starts writing stories. So, I think there's a lot to, as the pundits like to say, there's a lot to unpack. But I just thought it was interesting that, with this Jeffrey Epstein, the story isn't going away. I think it has powerful legs because there's so many elements to it. It's not just child sex trafficking. It's not just, Forbes wouldn't put him on their list.
Melanie, factually, it's wiping Ukraine off the map, this story is. It's just, don't think about Ukraine. Jose wanted to say something.
Oh, I was going to say, let's be honest here. We'll be talking about the Epstein files and Jeffrey Epstein 10 years from now still. That's the reality. We're going to have so much coming out of it, and we could spend 2 weeks right here without leaving the microphones talking about all the craziness with this stuff.
Yeah.
Here's Cliff's big chance to take it back over again. Here's your big chance, Cliff.
Give me the alley-oop. Let's go, Cliff.
For Cliff, actually, and I want to relate it to this. Phyllis Wheeler. Are you guys aware of Phyllis Wheeler?
No.
Wheatley. Phyllis Wheatley. Sorry.
Oh, sure.
What do you know about her? My son's doing a research project.
Oh, well, she has a long feminist history, so I think there's a lot to grab from that. What class is he in?
It's a history class, and he's doing like an SAT writing prep, and he was just reading to me. She was born in 1893 in West Africa and sold to the Wheatley family. What, Michael? Wait. Can you? Ew. And she was. He's getting mad at me.
Okay.
So, she was sold, but she was the first Black woman author who ever published a book. And she died at age 31. So there's that. But in terms of like slavery, it's like the new type of slavery is sex trafficking today. And it's really sad.
Oh, it's a really good segue. I like that. Yeah, I think, and whether you think these young women like it or are in love or whatever, it doesn't matter. That's immaterial. It's illegal. They can't give consent. So if you want to have a conversation about changing the laws of consent, let's have that conversation. But in the meantime, until those laws change, it's illegal to have sex, for an adult to have sex with an underage person. It's called rape. And if you then use those young people, those young women, predominantly women, although I could be misinformed about that, but if you use those young people as bait to then provide sexual services to other adults, it's sex trafficking. Or if you bring them into the country.
So
right, and that happened historically with slavery.
Right, right.
In 18...
I like the way you're thinking, Eileen. I mean, I think this is why this Epstein thing is really touching a lot of nerves. It's because it's bringing up a lot of issues that it's not just about him. It's about the legal system. It's about...
Well, but Melanie, the big story here is it's the lack of respect for law. People don't respect the law anymore. Go ahead, Jose.
So in 1885, there was a Criminal Law Amendment Act, and it raised the age of consent from 13 to 16. By 1920, only 26 states had an age of consent at 16, 21 at 18. So at the end of the day, I looked that up because you said 500 years ago. So I was like, was it that long ago? But as recent as the 1900s, the age of, I think regardless, as a father of a 14-year-old, it's no, just no. You know what I mean? But it's as recent as we can go back 100 years and
well, I'll put this in here. No one could be charged with impregnating a woman who was below the age of consent before DNA came along.
Well, that's a really good
I didn't do it.
Yeah, that's a really good point, John. Right, like prove it. And they couldn't prove it. I think there are still some states that if the parents give permission, the girl can be married at the age of 14.
Yeah, down the south, once
Yeah,
they get into that common law marriage stuff.
Yeah, so I'm sketchy on that, and I'm just throwing that out there. But I think there's still a lot of work to do around women, young women, learning to be independent, financially, sexually independent.
Well, should young women be on birth control starting at age 12?
Well, that's young.
Okay, then I'll make it 13.
That's still pretty young.
Okay, then I'll make it 14.
Yeah, some girls haven't even gone through.
We're into what the text. I still have that graphic up here. I can't get up. The Blessed Virgin was 14 to 17 years old when she had Jesus.
Yeah, that's probably.
So at what age? At what age
no birth control, John.
Thank you, Cliff, for taking over. Please take over.
All right. So I've got a friend who blogs. Her blog is Actions Have Consequences.
Oh, I like it already.
And she says, embedded in this political philosophy is the expectation that our representatives will abide by our views rather than push them aside, as the Communist Party does in China or Islamic religious figures do in Iran. And so I wrote back to her and I said she'd left out Massachusetts. We have here a troika of Maura Healey, Karen Spilka, and Ronald Mariano, and it seems they don't listen to anybody but themselves.
I agree. I think I read an interesting story, and I didn't read it completely. I saw the headline, and I printed it off. I think it was in the Boston Globe, said that Diana DiZoglio someone should run against those, they should challenge the orthodoxy. They should challenge the hierarchy. And I agree. I think, having a one-state solution, whether it's Democrat or Republican, it's never healthy. You have to have, I don't know why the Republicans are so weak in the state. I don't know why they can't get their message across. I don't know why they can't run viable candidates.
Because the Democrats have a magnificent machine, and the Republicans have beautiful horses with swords. The Democrats have a magnificent election machine that deserves a lot more respect than it gets. Only Democrats should run for office. That's the solution in Massachusetts. Only Democrats should run.
John, when you were a kid, did your parents read to you the little book Tootle?
I've never heard of that. Tootle?
Tootle.
No, what's it?
Cliff, I can assure you that book did not exist in Massachusetts when I was a child.
Yeah, whatever it is.
Don't blame my mother. Don't blame my mother. My mother did the best she could.
He was an aspiring big locomotive. He was just a little puff of belly, and he kept getting off the tracks.
And poor Cliff actually believes locomotives can talk.
Well, I think that at the end of the day, too, I mean, I don't think many of those races that are up for re-election are running uncontested.
They should only, in this state, only Democrats can win, so Republicans forget it.
Yeah, but
Independent, look at these two characters who ran against Vanna Howard, who returns no one's phone calls, okay? Maybe she calls Melanie back, but she doesn't call me back, doesn't call Frascarelli back, and we're the only other media clowns that are out there. If you want to run for office, you got to run as a Democrat. Join the Democratic Party and run as a Democrat. That's the only way you're going to win in Massachusetts. Back over to Cliff, and maybe he'll take the reins.
All right. So, 72% of us voted for Diana DiZoglio to audit the legislature.
Right.
And everyone is resisting it, including the AG. What's her name? Andrea Campbell?
Andrea Campbell?
Yeah. And, but I think it's showing up. I think this is the reason there are a large number of ballot initiatives for November, is because the people are tired of the legislature not paying attention.
And the legislature's going to do nothing about it. They're going to do nothing. They don't care what we think.
I got to give her a lot of credit. She's one person really continuing to bang the drum on that. She didn't drop it. She didn't do performative politics, which I see all the time. Can I prove it? No. But I feel like a lot of politicians, they talk the talk, but they don't walk the walk. She talked the talk and she walked the walk. She was out there. I wrote a story about her going out there, standing at Market Basket, getting those signatures. Like she did the work. She put in the work, and she's continuing to put in the work, even though they are thwarting her at every turn. I have a lot of respect for her gumption. I wish we saw more of that.
So where did we get to a point where we don't make it about the 70,000 people that didn't vote? At the end of the day, these people, I've been beating this drum for, actually, March 17th would be a year that I announced my candidacy for city council.
Oh, is that right? Okay.
Yeah. So at what point do we start beating the drum of the Democratic Party and start making people look at themselves? Again, 70,000 people.
Jose, voting is like golf, okay? If you make somebody, okay, I never golfed in my life.
Yeah,
and maybe you love golf. So you draft.
Mini golf.
McDonough, you're going to golf today. I'm going to lower everyone's score because I don't know what I'm doing. And so when it comes to voting, I don't want somebody who doesn't know what they're doing voting.
Yeah, but right now, according to the conversation we just had, I think most of the people in the room agree that what the people we have at the State House right now don't know what they're doing. So isn't the alternative, when you're already in the poop, but what do you care about getting some mud in your shoes?
Well, what the Democrats need is more people to join their party and demand excellence out of the party. This business of electing someone who does not talk to the media. Now, Melanie, you're always honest with us. Does Vanna call you back?
I don't normally, I don't normally talk to her. But she texts me.
Does she call anybody back at the Sun?
I get text messages from her and her Jake Vitale, who used to work.
Did they usually just say she's busy?
No, Well, I deal with either her through text message or Jake Vitale, who used to work for the Sun. So maybe that's why we have an in. I don't know. But he does all her press collateral, and he's very good about pushing out her material. So if you want to be on her mailing list, I'll send you Jake's email and contact.
I don't care. I don't care if I don't know Jake. I don't want his spin. I want her spin. And it's never going to happen.
Right.
I rubbed her the wrong ways at one point in her career, and I don't think that's going to change. So I don't think I'll ever hear from her again.
Oh, well, that's unfortunate. Yeah, I think
she's going to lie, make up stuff. She's going to strap her boots to everybody, all the other Democrats down there, and just vote what they say.
Well, here's a more close to home example, just to spin off of Jose and Cliff's points, is that the referendum on how to elect the mayor in the city of Lowell. And so what was that? That was like 65 or I can't remember what the percentage was, but an overwhelming percentage, a majority, I should say that. A majority said we want to have the right to elect the mayor in the city of Lowell. And that was 8 years ago? Something ridiculous, before my time. And then nothing. They did nothing. And I did notice that Belinda Duran put in a motion asking the city manager for an update on that. So we'll see. But I don't know why these things take so long. I don't know when the people speak and the electeds just, basically give them the finger or pretend like, they put their hands over their ears. So that we have it at the state level with Diane DeZaglio's was it a referendum? Yeah, I think, or a ballot measure. I think they call it a ballot measure at the state level. And then we have it at the local level with the mayor issue. And both have run into significant opposition by do-nothings.
Well,
they just don't do anything. They don't move it. They don't hold the administrations accountable. I mean, she's really the only one out there banging the drum. Where are all her supporters?
I hope
where are
that
the protests? Where are the bringing it up in debates? Like, I totally. I mean, I agree with you guys. I think the voters have to be more discerning and tougher on their electeds.
Okay, so let's talk about the election. Passing by John's limping analogy of golf. 4.55% of the people turned out, but now the seat's empty. Who's going to run for it? Kim Scott?
Oh, you mean the Howard seat?
Yeah.
Well, we already
Is that empty immediately as soon as she's sworn in?
There's already two candidates, two candidates for that seat, and their potential of John Drinkwater jumping in. So you got Anthony Late, and I just had her name.
He filed, right?
Yeah, and somebody else filed too. I just met her the other day, actually. I can't think of her name off the top of my head right now. So right now we actually have two people bidding for that seat. And sorry, I'm trying to find where.
Well, they have to get on the ballot, so they might have filed papers, but I usually don't report on the people filing papers because that's just show me stuff, don't look at me stuff. When I start my reporting is when they actually get signatures to get on the ballot.
Yeah, but still, we have two people that pulled paperwork, and the potential of there's rumors that John Drinkwater might end up, because he had some pictures during the election of him on Tuesday with him and Vana, and of course he was asked, and a lot of the rumor mill speculation. So until he actually pulls his paperwork, it'll be tough to know.
Yes, and I don't traffic in speculation. So pulling papers, okay, that's one step in a long process.
Well,
a lot of people pull papers and they never go anywhere with it.
Well, absolutely.
They never get their treasurer. They never, there have been plenty of candidates for the Lowell City Council who don't even raise money.
Absolutely.
I don't know what's in it for them. Attention, I'm not sure. But I try to hold off on reporting until they actually get the signature. Sorry, I'm trying to prop up my iPad.
No, absolutely.
We get the signatures to go on the ballot. Then I feel like, okay, now we have a contest. Now things are starting.
You're a reporter, so there's a different standard to what you can. Like me, I can talk about it because they pulled their paperwork, so
yeah, no, it's
up until
stuff,
they file
not,
there and get their signatures, that's when You know, it's about the conversation you just had earlier about you can't, you know, you're up here. You know, there's a certain standard for you, and obviously once you pull paperwork, if you can't get 150 signatures, and you got plenty of time, you know.
Is it 300 for the state?
No, it's
Yeah, I was
150.
just going to ask that for state rep. It is different. It is more.
No,
Because it's all the different counties.
No,
Right.
so
It's a
all
lot
it
of work.
is, the only
Right.
difference is, it's still 150, which is what's for city council, but I just had a conversation with Aaron Gendron about this, so we went and looked it up. The difference is, for city council, you just need 150. Doesn't matter, you know, doesn't have to be in district. For the state, it has to be in district. So it has to be 150 in district, which I thought it was higher. I mean, you would expect it to be. You're running for state rep.
And they have to be certified. It can't just be Mickey Mouse and Donald Duck. You know?
No, and they have to be from
They have to
in
be-
district.
They have to be registered voters, not just people who
Yeah.
aspirational voters. They have to actually be registered voters.
And if you're a registered Democrat, it has to be only either independent or Democrat. You can't have a Republican sign your paperwork. So there is a little more stricter rules, but the same amount of signatures that you would if you were running for city council. It's
Let's
150.
talk about Rodney Elliott dropping out.
I know, I was surprised.
I was surprised too. But my question is Eileen going to run for his seat?
Eileen Delrossi?
Yeah.
Oh, Eileen, are you going to
He
give us?
handled school committee, never mind a state rep.
Yeah. Yeah, you do have your hands full on that school committee. There's a
Eileen
lot
just
going
drove-
on. I'm going to
Eileen
give you
just
guys
drove off
all
the road.
boxing gloves.
Two names are getting floated. I mean, there's already somebody, I don't know if she's, you know, turned back her signatures yet, but Loretta Betts and
Oh, she did. She got her signatures.
so
Yep.
and then there's two names that were floated around over there. One was former Mayor Danny Rook and City Councilor Corey Robinson. So, I mean, I'm sure somebody's gonna pop out.
Jose, do I need 150 signatures in each town, or just 150 signatures?
Just 150 signatures total.
That's what I remember.
But and it has to be though for the state rep in your district. You can't get a signature for, like, I can sign Sakari's paperwork. I can't sign anybody else's. You know?
Right. It's complicated because you have to make sure the person who's signing it is in your district. Exactly.
I
You can't
didn't know
just-
I could only sign one group of papers. I thought I could sign anybody's papers.
You can, but for state rep, it has to be only for the state rep here.
I have to live in his district.
Yeah, that's what I'm
I have
saying.
to
I
vote
can.
in his district. So.
Yeah, I
Right,
can
you
only
can't be from
sign
Pittsburgh,
Sakari's.
for
I can't
instance,
sign anybody
or
else's.
Andover.
When I was running for city council, I would sign anybody's paperwork. You want to run? I don't care if you're running against me. I'll sign it.
I'll
Let's go. You know, make it fun, more
I'll tell everybody
competition.
Again, run as a Democrat. Join the Democratic Party right now, because only a Democrat. Because if you look at the numbers, you know,
No.
Will, the guy who runs the
Will Rosenberg.
election, yeah, he sent me the election results, and I'll put them up there. And it's crazy how much she won by.
Yeah, she did right. Well, I hear
what's
she had
crazy-
a really strong ground game. That she was out there knocking on doors and doing meet and greets.
Oh
And
yeah, sure she was.
75,000. So last time I checked,
3,500 people voted.
last time I had checked, it was for the February. She had spent $125,000. So in that month, I'm sure she didn't spend anything. You know, it's drop another 100, but still, we'll stick with
I
$125,000.
got 3 postcards a week from her.
Oh, me too. I got 2, one for me,
costs
one for
money.
my wife, with both of our names and 1 vote today. So look at the numbers there, though. So 3,590 out of 78, which that number went up. I'm happy to see that. That means in a month, 3 more thousand people. Registered. That's 75,000 votes on the table. And I get it, the big Democratic machine and this, but it cost you $125,000 to not even get 5% of the people out.
I don't mind paying for this election. I do mind paying for the party election. The government should not pay for a party election. No one gets elected.
That's gross. Imagine if we got 5,000 more people to come out. We actually got the number up to 10, 15.
But even if you
I know,
three
it's
Pete's are at the
crazy.
polls. They're not coming.
Well, maybe then they will. I mean, so I was going to mention when you guys were talking about the referendum to elect the mayor. But is it going to be a mayor that's going to represent the community when at most you have 10% coming out to
We're
vote?
going to hold it right there. Cliff,
Yeah.
we got 8 minutes left. Is
Oh
there
my
any-
goodness, wow.
Any jewels you wanted to bring up? And we can keep going, but we'll only have YouTube.
The time is flown by, people.
So,
Cliff, bring us home.
down on Beacon Hill, the House Committee on Public Safety and Homeland Security heard testimony on the Protect Act filed by Black and Latino Legislative Caucus that would ban federal immigration officials from making civil arrests in Massachusetts courthouses, among other measures, making them sound just like they're from the old South. John C. Calhoun. But my question is, what's the goal? Is the goal chaos, or do they have in mind some orderly process for which illegal immigrants become U.S. citizens or depart? Is there some sort of orderly process out there that someone is going to articulate?
So the way
Well, we haven't seen it yet, have we? We haven't seen legislation or anything.
the way I look at that, that was redundant. That was pointless because it's already in the Constitution of Massachusetts that federal agents can't go into churches. They can't go. So that was, to me, that was grandstanding. It was, look, we're doing, like John would say, we're doing a whole lot of nothing. Because literally there was no point in that because, again, correct me if I'm wrong.
My new state motto was this. Tell your kids, move to New Hampshire. Get out of here. We're crazy.
I mean,
we
that-
elect people to office that don't talk to anybody. Can't keep a staff. Tell your kids, move to New Hampshire.
Well, it's funny you mentioned that, John, because Ray Booten was talking on Teddy Panis's Inside Lowell the other day, and he said, you know, back in the day, people who couldn't afford to live in Somerville and Cambridge moved to Wakefield. And now their kids can't afford to live in Wakefield, so now they move to Lowell. And now those kids can't afford to live in Lowell, and he said, move to New Hampshire. So I think, you know, the growth is moving out. And so but it's going to take a while, but I think we are going to see a lot of demographic and economic shifts, regardless of who's in office.
That's what
And
happens
the
historically.
elected officials will
last
tell
year.
you, I'm not
John,
going to worry
you're
about it
talking
until it
over
gets to
me.
my
John,
deck.
John.
I'm on
You're
screen,
talking over
Cliff.
me.
I'm on TV.
You're not the host.
Oh, there you go.
I'll give it over to you, Cliff.
33,000 people from June to July last year. From July to June of last year left the state net. So we're losing population.
It's unaffordable. I remember when I moved to Boston, gosh, almost 20 years ago, I couldn't get a moving company. I had to pay one way, which was enormously expensive with a moving company, because the way you cut your cost is that you get a moving company to move you where you are, and they can find a load going out. And they couldn't find anybody leaving Massachusetts, so I could only pay, and I did 3 quotes, and all 3 major moving companies told me the same thing. You have to pay the one-way fee because there's no load leaving Massachusetts. Now the reverse is true. So I think, you know, sometimes these things sort of ebb and flow, but there's definitely movement out of Massachusetts. I think the cost of housing is crazy. You can't. It's hard to afford to live here. So people are moving out where they can afford to live.
So
Hold it, kids. I get 4 comments from the audience, and I'm not going to, no more comments from the audience.
All right.
For the second time there, Cliff merged the big red dog with the little engine that could. He's the master at this hosting thing. That's from Bart. He's the chief of your fan club, Cliff.
He is.
And then we have why wouldn't Vanna debate Sam or Joe? We're never going to get an answer to that question. You're wasting your breath, kiddo. On the Green Monster, Melanie, President Clinton is a serial liar. That's the job of Channel 4, 5, 7, 10, and 13. If the media was honest, then they would ask a question, the audit. I tell my kids, 1 star in the state, seal is for a good reason. Great show today. Back to Cliff.
So real
Cliff,
quick,
I want to be a member of your fan club. Send me the information.
I want to comment on the before John. So if we're so worried that we're losing people and everybody's fleeing the state, why are we so fixated on building more housing? For who?
Because we're trying to get them to stay, but that housing isn't affordable, as we're seeing with the nonprofits.
We want more public housing. That's what we want.
Well, they're
That's what's-
building a ton of market rate housing in Lowell. In
That's the
addition,
only thing that there is. Where can you buy a roof for cheap money? You can't.
yeah.
So instead of leaving to go to New Hampshire, we want them to leave and come to Lowell. That's the.
No, go to New Hampshire. Save your kid's life.
Let's talk about
I
housing.
mean, think about it though. I mean, people are leaving. We're blowing the
Go ahead,
dog
Cliff, you got
whistle on
60
that.
You have 60 seconds.
Oh, all right,
Out in
Cliff.
Yuba County in California, they are doing 3D printing of houses.
Oh, I read about that. Yeah.
And it's relatively cheap, $280,000. We need some sort of activity like that. If the Troika could only get around to doing some
Cliff, they won't move in. They don't have to move in. I'm telling Jose that he's on the Hunger Homeless Commission. He's the big cheese over there now.
No.
Yes, congratulations.
No,
not.
none of that.
They can refuse treatment. It's harassment if you keep asking them. Cliff, going to give you the last word. We're out of time.
But Cliff, I think you're also talking about regular homeowners buying into these prefab homes,
Yeah.
right? Kind of like the Sears starter home back in the
Yeah.
was the 1920s or 30s.
before that.
Yeah, was it before that? Oh yeah, that's right.
We're gonna
so
be
I
off
think
the
that's
air.
That's a valuable idea, but our zoning.
We're gonna be off the air in like 10 seconds.
Good luck getting our
I mean,
zoning, our restrictive zoning, to approve that kind of structure. I think that's part of the problem.
We probably got like 10 seconds on the air on the LTC. So, yeah, not even. So say goodbye.
All right, Jose. Always
Well, we can stay on YouTube, right?
We're on YouTube and Facebook.
Yeah, we're still on YouTube and
next time,
Facebook.
donuts, man.
But you just had to say goodbye to the people at LTC.
So, Melanie, we'll see you in 2 weeks.
That sounds good.
Good.
All right, thanks everybody.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Maybe we'll
All
get
right,
some.
have a good weekend. Stay
Maybe
safe
we'll
out
get
there.
some donuts in 2 weeks.
See you Monday. Thanks, Melanie.
All right, thanks, John.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, Jose. Bye-bye, Cliff. Thank
Have a
you.
good one.
All right.